I need your name, your age, your neighborhood you came from, and your occupation.
My name is Chris. I'm 33 years old. I grew up in Westchester County, New York. Employment, I've been in and out of prison. I've been dealing with addiction.
My name is Ty Davis. My neighborhood is what was known as Sugar Hill, but now known as Hamilton Heights. First and foremost, in terms of trades and skills, I'm a graphic designer, I'm a videographer, audio engineer.
Name's LeVar Jenkins, one of them Jenkins boys. My occupation, I am self-employed. I rent rooms out and I'm a subcontractor for Corn Edison. I also started my own business, me and my wife, trucking. I was born in Cleveland, Ohio, but I live in New York. I'm from Washington Heights. It's basically a Spanish community.
From Harlem, Sugar Hill, Uptown. I'm a comedian, instigator comedian.
Right, my name is Frank. My occupation is a financial analyst on Wall Street. And what we do is basically give small and mid-sized business owners bank loans and cash advances and things like that. And I'm 42 years old.
I'm 43 years old, about to be 44 years old. My occupation is to get out the hood and progress and live a better life.
Alright, so my name is Jaden. You know, I usually go by Jay as well. I grew up in Yonkers, New York.
My name is Perlisha. I'm 18. I grew up in the Bronx, New York, and my occupation is fairly.
My name is T.G. Dean. I grew up in Brownsville, and I'm unemployed.
My name is John Smith. My age is 33, and my occupation is currently unemployed right now. My neighborhood is Harlem, USA.
Wow, we filming. I'm excited. My name is Erwin Johnson. I'm 44 years old. I was gonna lie and say 40. I wish I still was young. I'm 44 years old. I'm the director of social services. I also own the company phones and tablets, the ACP and the Lifeline services.
What's your name, age, neighborhood, and occupation?
Well, I'm not asking none of the name. That I'm just a street dude, fun the street, just keep it real. Childhood was Skelly's. We played Skelly's right there. You know what I mean? We went and played basketball. Brothers was playing baseball. You know what I mean? It's none of that unity type thing right now.
What's going on? My name is Earl Dean, aka Dante 909. I am a music producer. I am originally from Harlem, New York, Harlem World. I'm from 148th Street for life. This is all day, every day. My building where I grew up and raised around this neighborhood. And what was it like growing up in my neighborhood? It was fun. It was fun. I think playing loadies in the street. I can watch my boys and the females around my neighborhood play double dutch, hopscotch, just to get that iron top to spin across the, you know, and then you gotta know how to shoot. Even play jacks in the street, you know what I'm saying? Playing block parties, you gotta say block parties.
I'm KD, I'm 36. I'm from Sugar Hill, and I'm a butcher by trade and a content creator any other time.
My name's Rob Ventura. I was born to my mother and I had a brother that was older than me. And it was 1971, October 25th. And my first memory in life was probably when I was 3 years old. My mom did a Section 8 project.
Yo, what's up, man? Y'all know me, I'm Wizzo. I'm ADT Podcast, 30 years old. You know me, Sugar Hill area, born and raised. In the battlegrounds where I spent most of my days.
Your childhood like growing up in your neighborhood?
My childhood life? Oh man. To me, my childhood life was amazing. My childhood life was basketball tournaments, manhunt, then unfortunately, reefer smoke. Other than that, my childhood was great. I ain't gonna lie. I loved my childhood.
My childhood was good. It was great. You know what I mean? We had a lot of fun. Danced on the train when I was younger, made a lot of money doing that. Yeah, that a lot of y'all don't know about that. Alright? What else you want to know? My childhood was great to me. Because where I seen it from the last 20, 30 years, there's no comparison to that. Childhood was immaculate compared to where I see it today. We used to have stickball, everybody come together. We played Ludi right there.
What was it like growing up in my neighborhood? It was fun. It was fun. I think what people don't understand now is that the kids of these days, it's 2023 kids and teenagers and everyone, they don't really get to have fun amongst each other. They don't You know, when I grew up playing skellies, playing loadies in the street.
I went to PS 153, elementary school. Then I went from there. I went to junior high school 143 on 181st and Audubon. And from there, I went to Kennedy. From Park West, I went to Kennedy. I grew up with my grandmother. I was very fortunate to have nice things, nice clothes and things. And my grandmother, so I had a good childhood. I could say that. So all my childhood, I was good.
All right, so I'll put it to you like this. When I was a little kid, yeah, that shit was fun. When I got older, I started dabbling, shit got tricky, you know what I mean? Things had to sit there, you know, it got real. It was cool. It wasn't nothing I wasn't prepared for. I put myself through it. You feel me?
Growing up Sugar Hill as a preteen, I moved here at 10 years old. I moved with my father after my mother and father split up, and my mom, she was going through some personal issues. And when I moved here, you know, the transition was kind of abrupt because leaving a rural area in Memphis, Tennessee, I was 10 years old. You know, I grew up, man, it was a pretty country life. I came here and I seen all the fast shit, you know what I'm saying? And like, it was kind of scary at first.
Go back to positivity, even though, you know, everybody getting in a little trouble and stuff around the teenage years, 14, 15, 16, but as you get older, you start to mature more.
Skittle, New York, which is upper Westchester County. It's a small city. There's a lot of blacks and Spanish. Not too many whites. I'm white and I'm Puerto Rican. My father's Puerto Rican. My mom's white. I would get made fun of because I didn't get fit in with the Spanish. Because I didn't speak Spanish. And you know, the white people make fun of me because my last name was Rivera. So I didn't really fit in and stuff like that. And so I gravitated towards drugs a lot because that made me feel, you know, centered. You know, I didn't really care where I fit in because I felt comfortable. I felt like, you know, there was something over me protecting me.
It was pretty decent, you know, regular childhood, nothing special, hanging out, running around, a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
What's the little bit of this and a little bit of that?
Playing sports.
Also fitting in, you know, I'm white and I'm around a lot of black and a lot of Spanish. I just didn't fit in, you know, so it was hard. I ended up in the city. I entered a drug program to try to get clean, and then it opened up some doors for me. And then I started relapsing. I got stuck down here, and I've been just continually doing drugs, and I've been stuck in this cycle. And that's how I ended up down here in the Bronx from up in Westchester. Stuck in a route, stuck in a cycle, trying to find myself, but that hasn't really been it. And that's how I ended up down here.
Are you currently homeless?
Right now, I'm currently homeless.
And how long have you been homeless?
Approximately 2 years.
I heard you mention that you were unemployed. Were you ever gainfully employed?
Working at a service BDC, I was a service writer for a car company. I was Curry Automotive. That was years ago. That was my most steady job. That was for about 4 years. Back when I was 18 to about 22. Since then, I've been in and out of prison and dealing with addiction. I haven't had a steady employment. Or I went back to school.
Do you remember about what age when it all started to go wrong?
Approximately around 12, actually. That's when I started getting in trouble. I went to juvie when I was 14. You know, my mom was an alcoholic, and I was left on my own pretty much. Streets and just trying to, you know, I didn't have a lot of positive role models, so I just gravitated to, you know, drugs and just nothing good, you know.
Would you like to share what your choice of drug is?
Heroin, coke.
If it was possible to do it all over again, what would you do different at that turning point? When you mentioned 12 years old, it looked like it started all going wrong. What do you think if you would have changed in your behavior pattern or just in life, maybe the outcome would look different right now?
Definitely not picking up the drugs and definitely finding a positive role models to be around, positive people, because I didn't have that. So I kind of was left to my own devices and I gravitated to the drugs and all the things that are not right. You know?
You said that things started going wrong at 12 years old and you started acting up in school. Did you ever finish school?
No, but I acquired my GED.
Okay, so I would think that one of the things that you might want to change in that is probably finishing school.
Well, yeah, that probably would have been a plus because I always wanted to have my name called when I was coming down, you know, people clapping for me, you know, that would have been probably a good thing, but I never experienced that. You know, I just got a GED.
what would be the first thing that you would like to stop in our neighborhoods?
Just, you know, basically the things that have been going on for a long time is just the drugs, the inflation of drugs, you know?
Would like to know the support community now that you deal with, being homeless, right? Do you find yourself in the situation you're in having more support now from the homeless community?
Hey, no. Pretty much everybody's, you know, I have no support right now, and the homeless community is not united, you know, everybody's for themselves, I believe. So, you know, homeless steal from homeless. It's a messed up thing in the streets. So, no, I don't have support in that area at all.
So at the end of the day, it's a cold world.
It's a cold world, yes it is.
Can I get you to say that? To say, it's a cold world.
At the end of the day, it's a cold world, you know.
Talk about it to this day. He be laughing. He's like, yo, I remember when you first came up here, I couldn't even get you out the car. And now you running around the streets like I can't slow you down. You know, I guess adjustment is a motherfucker. The human being is a motherfucker. But yeah, it was real fast. And then I had to like really like key into what was going on during the times. In the 80s, you know what I'm saying, we were still coming up out of the civil rights movement per se in terms of the mentality in the community. I gravitated to a group called the 5%ers because they were pretty much black conscious, militant, strong, and my father, he was, you know, involved with the Nation of Islam. He was an FOI. So the FOI, the youth to me in terms of the lessons they was doing, they was studying the 120 lessons and a new concept that I never knew before, which was supreme mathematics and supreme alphabet, which gave me an even better perspective on what my dad was teaching me at home. So yeah, that mixed with what was going on at the time in the 80s, it was like New York City was trying to transition, pardon me, out of like a new advent in consciousness, you know. But bear in mind, this still was the 1980s and there still was gangs involved. At my time, growing up as a kid on Amsterdam Avenue, it was all black businesses. I could go because my father, he owned a bar called Chasney Bar and Lounge on 148th in Amsterdam, him and my stepmother, Martha Gann. I remember I could go to each and every one of these stores and knew all these proprietors by name. They knew me by name. Actually, my first job that I ever had was at a store, was at the bakery. Who got me the job was the super in my building on 125th, and it was called the Passion Flour Bakery, and this was located on 125th Broadway, right next to the old KP Coms. Any old New Yorkers know what I'm talking about. I was 13 years old, and this job was given to me by another black person. So I saw, like in my time, Harlem was, up here was really black. My father had a friend named Spanish Raymond he used to deal with a lot. And on that side of were the Hispanic community. And the lines of contrast, it was fusion in it, I want to say. You know what I'm saying? You knew this side and that side was, you know what I'm saying? You know, to be politically correct. But at the same time, it was a very diverse childhood, man. Like, I went to junior high school 52 in my middle school days, and I became acquainted with my Dominican community, very much so. I don't know why, because like a lot of them, they look like my people back home in Memphis. And like, I didn't understand it. I'm like, yo, you speaking straight Spanish, but you look like Rand.
Do you remember about what age when it all started to go wrong?
For me, I remember when shit started going wrong, well, when I was hip to shit going wrong, you know, my perspective, you know, my understanding was clear. It was like, I think I was 13 years old, 1983, I was going to junior high school 52. Nah, I had to be, no, wait, let me go back, God. 1982, 7th grade, I'm in math class, yo. And, you know, like I said, there was different neighborhoods and the lines were very clear, you know what I'm saying? And in my school neighborhood, it was a predominantly Dominican community. I had a friend named Jose, right? And he came into math class one day, yo. with a shopping bag, key food bag. I'll never forget this shit, bro. And no, sorry, Grand Union bag, bro. I mean, you know, the white shopping bag, right? And it was filled with these motherfucking little envelopes, and he passing them out in the class. Some niggas knew what the shit was. It was this little white brick, right? And I'm like, yo, what the fuck is you doing? And I see these niggas grinding shit up in these little books and shit. Yeah, the Spanish cats. And I'm like, what the fuck is y'all niggas doing? And this nigga was my homeboy, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't even hip. He's like, yeah, yo, perico. You don't know cocaine, you don't know nothing, Todd. I remember this shit like vividly. I'm like, okay. Well, what you doing with this? He takes a sniff and he says, wang. You know what I'm saying? Wang. You know, they had the heavy accent. And what I knew about it was like, you know how I affiliated with these niggas? Because you know niggas in Memphis, right? When they say man, right? It's mine, right? The Dominican niggas say man. And I don't know, syllabics is a motherfucker. When you just a strange person in a strange place, you looking for affinity, you looking for a connection. Who can I connect to? That's why I connected them. I think the accent. Anyway, so then, I'm like, what the fuck is you doing with this shit, Jose? I'm like, yo, what the fuck is you doing? He's like, yo. I'm like, what? Wang. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Okay. I was scared that day, but we had a hooky party. And I don't know, you know, people who grew up in New York City know about hooky parties. Somebody ain't home, and then everybody, you know, the guys and the girls, you know what I'm saying, we run up in the crib. So we on Sherman Avenue, me and my man. And we got like, yeah, it'd be me and Jose and like 4 girls, you know. So we up in the crib and he pulled the shit out again. And the bitches knew what they was doing too. So, you know, I'm trying to be cool. I'm not trying to be the party pooper, you know, a little nerd on the side. So I'm trying to get in social. So I, you know, indulge. You know, and man, and one thing leads to another, I'm telling you, man. Boom, you know how it is. You know, we got 4 girls. It's me and my man Jose, and we got this one-on-one, right? Bitches knew what they was doing. You know, I'm trying to be cool, you know. So, you know, I indulge. So the next thing you know, the party's going on. You know, I got my little 2 joints in the room. We got little 2, we having fun, right? And then the keys start jingling. Yo, his uncle busts in the room, in the apartment. Jose, what the fuck are you doing, man? Yo, and then, you know, I knew these people. These people were my friends, you know what I'm saying? Yo, so, he's like, yo, Thai, what the fuck is you doing, man? And I'm looking like, you know, I'm sweating, and I'm looking like, you know, I just was playing with talcum powder. So, next thing you know, yo, he grabbed both of us. This nigga was a big 6'4" Dominican, big thick nigga. Grabbed both of us like this. We little, I don't know, I maybe was 98 pounds wet. Yo, the nigga grabbed us. It's like, I don't give a fuck about what you doing. Just don't the smoke of the shit. That's for the niggas. And then I knew, and then he looked at me and said, no, you no nigga. And that's when I knew it all was going wrong. And then years later, fast forward to 1985, I saw my neighborhood change. I started seeing these little valves on the ground. I really didn't know what it was, but I saw people wilding and people talking about crack. And I noticed that the majority of the people that I saw indulging in this vice were people that looked like me. And then I knew it was all going on. As a kid, I knew that. I saw like beautiful women, professional people, just and working people, you know what I'm saying? Losing their apartments going down to this shit. People getting murdered. But also on the contrast to that, I saw youths, you know, not too older than me, same age as me, you know, contemporaries, making money like they was fucking doctors. You know what I'm saying? And like it was very blurry. It was very blurry. But specifically, my uncle Frankie, right? He was a jazz musician, and he fell to the he fell to crack, yo. He fell to crack and dope. But I don't know. He was doing dope, like 60s, 70s. Came from Vietnam. Was doing dope. That crack shit, it fucked him up, bro. It fucked him up to a level where he was, I feel, non-functional. You know what I'm saying? He only functioned for that shit. It was like, yo, word is born. And my old enlightener, pure mathematical genius, God bless him. You know what I'm saying? He in the essence right now, peace to God. Pure mathematical genius fell to the raises of crack as well. You know what I'm saying? He had an uncle that was down with it. He started smoking it. And this, he was the God. I mean, like, he had degrees on cap, all that shit, God. You know what I'm saying? Started smoking this shit. He had an earth named Shah Mecca. She started smoking it. Yo, it was sad.
What experiences did you go through as a result of it going wrong?
A lot, yo. As a result of it going wrong, like a lot of things in our neighborhood was dismantled. Community, I mean, it was like topsy-turvy because, I mean, things were out of control, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, I saw people who were supposed to be my mentors and people who were supposed to be, you know, guiding the youth to the next level fall victim to this, this chemical demon, bro. And it was just, the lines were blurred, the lines of respect were gone. You know, the little things that you learn in terms of ethics and morality and how you're supposed to greet, you know, elders and stuff like that. The lines were blurred because these people didn't even care about these social graces anymore. They was just victims to this one substance. And to tell you the truth, they dehumanized the community. It was a dehumanizing thing. I seen women, right, that had it not been for the circumstances that created, you see, the circumstances are the precursor to things happening. You dig what I'm saying? Just the society ostracizing us because of we're melanated. All of the social and economic obstacles that we had to hurdle. All of this mental shit that creates a precursor for someone to need an escape. Escape is a motherfucker. I think these are the precursors that led to the moral decline of our community. And personally, I was a youth growing up in this neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? Understand? And be that as it may, I became conscious. Now, in my youth, I was definitely a product of my environment. And shit, I done had fellatio by bras that was like 45 years old for like $2, and I'm 16 years old. What, like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? And once you're inculcated into a thing, it becomes a part of you. So like, how you gonna like respect your elders? You know what I'm saying? This 45-year-old nigga squeegee, man. How could I respect that? And then, if I mean, like I said, products of our environment, we all grew up, we had little joint on our block called the Deuce Block, but we used to call it Jump Street, and where, we would proprietize and try to make an economic goal, And we were just kids, you know what I'm saying? And it just, for me, the moral decline of everything is bad. And it's still to this day. You dig what I'm saying? There's no respect amongst black people just in terms of mutual human respect. And I think this is the precursor of that is, you know, the environment that fostered the drug epidemics. And I say epidemics because it took a couple of these shits to really break this community down. The heroin epidemic, but I think the crack epidemic was the capstone in that pyramid, yo. Word, because it all went down. It finally was the last blow. Like I said previously, there was definitely a contrast in lines. Okay, we had our community. They had, you know, my Hispanic brothers had their communities, right? But who was the puppet above these two communities pulling these strings? That's the mystery that I've yet to unfathom. Because it got to be somebody, you know, pulling the strings between these two communities. Erode one, rise the other for the benefit of the puppet master. You know what I'm saying? I digress on that.
It was all possible to do it all over again. At that turning point, what would you do different?
Me personally, and I'm saying this with most honesty, I really do believe that instead of succumbing to the temptations of material gain, I really feel that the ones that was, you know, the guiding, the ones that we saw, you know what I'm saying, out there, should have took a more communal stance, a more socialist stance in terms of what they were doing. But I don't even think they really knew what they were doing, man. You know what's funny about a fucking drowning man? That he'll grab for a lifesaver and think it's a motherfucking life preserver. You understand what I'm saying? Yo, being poor and being disenfranchised will delude your perception. And I got total forgiveness for all those OGs paved the way for what we're living through now. Thank you.
What would be the first thing you would like to stop in our neighborhoods?
The first thing I would like to stop, well, first of all, we don't have a black neighborhood anymore. What I would have liked to stop is the disunity and the dissociation amongst ourselves. Over-sexualization of females, young females in particular. The mother, the woman, is core of our community, okay? A woman gets on public assistance, right? The government says, we're gonna give you subsidy, we're gonna pay your rent, we're gonna make sure you eat, we're gonna make sure your kids eat. The only clause in this contract is that black man can't be there. He goes, it's like a motherfucker, ain't that the devil though? Cause like he be like, yo, we're gonna give you all this, bitch, you starving. You need a lifesaver. He go, but that nigga can't be there. But guess what? The black woman and the black man is the link to life. That's the beginning of the community. So the first thing I would do is try to save the black family.
What is a personal solution of yours that you would like to see happen / change in the hood?
Mutual human respect amongst each other. Look, man, if I respected you as just a mutual, as me, I wouldn't do the things that I would do just as a human being. So let's bring back the humanness amongst our people.
Why is it that majority of everything else in the world is progressing except for the majority of the people in the ghetto? Is it the environment itself, the people, the places, or the things in it?
I'd say it is a multiplicity, all those things. You have to build an environment for certain things to foster. No, it's no different in the inner cities of America. I want flowers to grow, right? I'm gonna build a flower bed, right? But if I want shit to die, I'm gonna put shit in place so that you could die. We live in a slow death here in the wilderness of North America, particularly here in what was formerly known in Sugar Hill, what I know specifically for myself. We die in a slow death. Everything is built around, oh, get a bottle. Alcoholism is at a fucking all-time high. I took Sugar Hill to an Indian reservation. For real, alcoholism, the toxicity level here. Why? Because people are in pain. The violence is ensued because there's nothing here that is for me and my people that look like me. There's nothing even here for us anymore. You can't get a job in your own neighborhood. How stupid you gonna look to go to that deli on the corner? I'm not being racist to the Arabian deli on the corner and ask for a job, but you can spend your money there. How many times is the money taken out of our communities and is not reflective of the people spending the money?
Do you remember what age when it all started to go wrong?
I never followed people, you know what I mean? I always had people following me.
So what, you learn from other people's mistakes to not do wrong?
I mean, don't we all? It could be other people's mistakes, some of them could be my mistakes. It's life. It's learning through life, that's all it is. Whatever life you go through, you're gonna learn.
Ages at 17, 18, I was selling crack. Yeah, I caught a state bid. Nevertheless, I don't want to really get into that because that was like 10 years ago, so I would look at the past and move on to the future.
Like that.
I think I'll be in the NBA right now because I had a little game back in the days, the battlegrounds, you know what I'm saying, playing ball. So I think I'll be playing ball or being in college or something, chicks and all that.
I came from this neighborhood, Harlem. I was born in Harlem Hospital and basically lived over in Harlem most of my life. And I was in Atlanta a little while. I went to high school down there, college in Savannah, Georgia. Shout out to the South, shout out to Georgia, Atlanta. I love it down there too, but you know, New York always home.
Well, growing up in my neighborhood, you know, I grew up in different areas of Yonkers, so, you know, certain areas were a little rough, certain areas were, you know, more nicer, you know, certain areas more calm, you know, more peaceful, less drama. But I would say the south side of Yonkers, I lived on the south side of Yonkers for some time as well. And the south side of Yonkers, it was rough, you know, like, it was really hard, you know, like, there was a lot of drama and stuff, you know, like, everywhere you went, you had to watch your back and everything, you know, and I didn't really like it, you know, it wasn't my type of area. The north side, it was nice, you know, I lived around the Central Park Avenue area, and it was peaceful, there was no drama, you know, people were nice, you were able to go outside and, you know, actually enjoy yourself, you know, without having to feel like something's gonna happen.
My name is John Smith, my age is 33, and my occupation is currently unemployed right now. My neighborhood is Harlem, USA. My childhood was pretty decent, you know, the regular childhood, nothing special, hanging out, running around, a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
What's the little bit of this and a little bit of that?
Playing sports.
What your childhood was like growing up in your neighborhood?
I had a great childhood, number one. My mother and my father are both great parents. Never used drugs. They never was drinkers and stuff like that. My mom was a Christian woman. She was an AIDS patient. Then she got sick for a while, you know. But my dad, he retired at Ford, so he worked at Ford for a long time. So as a child, I went back and forth from my dad's house, mom's house, from New York to Kansas City, Missouri, back and forth.
Do you remember about what age when it all started to go wrong?
I'll say maybe I'll say 2. I'll say different ages. 2, when I was little, I remember the first time someone was picking on me as a kid, when I was like a little baby. Somebody was picking on me. I remember that. Yeah, I remember certain things as a kid, people was picking on me as a baby. Just to make fun of me. So I guess I'll say that it started as that. And it came from when I was 2, people picking on me to going to school. I didn't have the best clothes, so people started doing the same thing then. So that's how, my childhood was.
Okay. What experiences did you go through as a result of it all going wrong?
Well, I didn't finish school, that's one. Me not finishing high school. That hurt. You know, in high school, especially in New York, you know, not having proper clothes sometimes. You know, people would just make jokes all the time. Or, you know, yeah, that's what I would say, yeah. Not finishing school, you know. Schools in New York wasn't that great for me. I had some of my great school was in Kansas City, but unfortunately it was kind of prejudice out there. Especially with my father, it was a very prejudiced, but he lived like in Kansas City, Missouri. Very prejudiced place. But other than that, I met some wonderful people there, you know, yeah.
All right. If it was possible to do it all over again, what would you do different at that turning point?
Wow. I would have loved to finish school. I really tried to stay with my dad in Kansas City, Missouri, but that was, again, it was so racist there, man. Like that would hurt. That was the most racist place I've ever been. The schooling was great, but my God, it was so racist. I just could not deal with it. And I came back to New York, but the high school I went to, unfortunately, had like 7,000 students, man. Like, come on, how can you really learn with 7,000 students? Like, that's impossible. Like, so that's what the problem was for me, to be honest. I'll say the education, you know, not finishing school, stuff like that.
What is a personal solution of yours that you would like to see happen or change in the hood? Or your hood? Rapids, Kansas, or where you at now?
I just want, you know, black people to find a way to be like more like the Jews, more like other communities, to stick together more. That's what I really hope and pray on. That unity is so important. Having going to a black-owned store, you know what I'm saying? Going to a black gas station, going to a black supermarket. I like stuff like that. You know, that's why that reparation money is so important. Yeah.
All right, I want to know, do you think it's where people come from, the surroundings of things, like the people having to live on top of one another, liquor stores being right down the block, people selling drugs when you come out, places where if you was somewhere else in a suburban neighborhood and all that wasn't around and schools was different, would you think someone grow up better than they grew up now? Like, is it anything else you think it may be than that?
I was born in 1978 in Cleveland, Ohio, in a house. I remember as a kid playing with my cousin in Cleveland. She was being mean. So again, I had to be no more than 2 years old. So she's older than me, so she had to be 3. So was she drinking at 3? Or someone teaching her that, I guess, dark-skinned people are ugly or some shit? So I don't think it's that. Sometimes it could be drugs. Because even, the funny thing about her is her mom's a crackhead. But at that time, her mom wasn't smoking, to my opinion. But yeah, at that time, the girl was 3 years old. She wasn't drinking. And she was talking crazy, calling me names and stuff. That's my cousin. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I don't want to blame it on drugs all the time. I just think that we got so much hatred towards each other. Or that this person dark skinned, this person light skinned. That's where I think it comes from. I think this hatred. That's what I think it is, man. Black hatred. Sometimes the black person could be more hateful.
What was your childhood like growing up in your neighborhood, Sharia?
Like I said, I was living raised by Rose Cooper, my grandmother. So I had a good childhood. I could say that. As I got older, shit got a little worse. And I had to do what I had to do back against the wall, so I had to lock in the grind into the money. Otherwise than that, I had a good life.
Do you remember about what age when it all started to go wrong?
At about 17, 18 years old. I started selling crack. And then from there, I just had to do what I had to do, money to survive in the street. I wasn't trying to buy what I wanted to do. I had to do that. I was getting older, so I had to do what I had to do. But otherwise than that, I was surviving. I was always a good kid, but I got caught in the street life.
No. What was the experiences did you go through as a result of it going wrong?
Yeah, I caught a state bid, but nevertheless, I don't want to really get into that, because
if it was possible to do it all over again, what would you do different at that turning point?
I think I'd be in the NBA right now. I had a little game back in the days, the battlegrounds, you know what I'm saying, playing ball. So I think I'd be playing ball or being in college or something, with chicks and all that. Yeah.
What would be the first thing you would like to stop in our neighborhood?
Violence and killing, shooting, young boys out here going crazy.
What is a personal solution of yours that you would like to see happen or change in the neighborhood?
Is all our people get together, like stop going to go see each other and fight each other, kill each other, like I said, because that's not getting us nowhere. But that's just setting us back. And people look at us different when people stick together. They look at us and say,
what is a personal solution of yours that you would like to see happen or change in the neighborhood?
People get back together, get back to the community, get back to the hood. You know what I'm saying? Get rich, get big cookout for the family, for the hood, everybody.
Poverty, do you think it came from where we from, the people, the places, or the things around us?
I wouldn't say that, but like I said, it could be better. Hopefully, like I said, everything will go great. And this year, next year, we'll go all over next year.
What neighborhood you came from?
I came from this neighborhood, Harlem. I was born in Harlem Hospital and basically lived still in Harlem most of my life.
Do you remember about what age when it started to go wrong, if it ever went wrong in your coming up or your neighborhood?
Well, I mean, it always was a little bit of negativity in the neighborhood, but you know, we always knew how to go back to positivity, even though, you know, everybody get in a little trouble and stuff around the teenage years, 14, 15, 16, but as you get older, you start to mature more.
All right, what experiences did you go through as a result of it going wrong?
I went through a lot of experience, such as different institutions and programs and probation, things of that nature. But it made me a better person in the end.
And it was all possible to do it over again. What would you do different at that turning point?
What I would do different at that turning point would probably be more focused on the positive things I was doing instead of focusing on the negative things, which was very sporadic, but it still happened.
What would be the first thing you would like to stop in your neighborhood or our neighborhood?
Well, the first thing I would like to stop is the actual guns coming into the neighborhood, because there's no guns made in the cities. So these people who are actually manufacturing the guns and making the guns are getting them into the city, and then you're blaming kids who can't make a gun. So whoever making them, we got to start with the supplier first.
What would be a personal solution of yours that you would like to see happen or change in the neighborhood?
Well, one thing that I've started with my lawyer from Neighborhood Dependent Services was a restorative justice program. And what we wanted to do is basically be the mediators into things where people don't want to call the police, like such as family issues and things. And we'll come in with professionals such as psychiatrists and counselors who can help mediate the situations without anybody getting arrested or any police brutality, which has been happening a lot in the neighborhoods where mostly colored people.
Do you think people in poverty, do you think it comes from the people, the places, or the things?
I think it's a mixture of all three, just because of the things that we are exposed to that you wouldn't get exposed to in upper and middle class neighborhoods, even though upper and middle class citizens come to the lower income neighborhoods to actually do negative things. You can't go out there and do negative things. So I think that's why we get exposed to it early, and then you're easily distracted from your positive things you're doing because there's so much negative going on around you.
I appreciate that.
No doubt, anytime, man. You know how we do.
Well, growing up in my neighborhood, I grew up in different areas of Yonkers, so, certain areas were a little rough, certain areas were, more nicer, certain areas were more calm, more peaceful, less drama. But I would say the south side of Yonkers, I lived on the south side of Yonkers for some time as well, and the south side of Yonkers, it was rough, it was really hard, there was a lot of drama and stuff, everywhere you went, you had to watch your back and everything, I didn't really like it, it wasn't my type of area. The north side, it was nice, I lived around the Central Park Avenue area, and it was peaceful, there was no drama, people were nice, you were able to go outside and, actually enjoy yourself, without having to feel like something's gonna happen,
I grew up in a quiet neighborhood. Me and my family go outside to go work, it changed when I moved to the south of almost. I started getting into things with other kids and confused about everything, so I went from chill to just a hell of a lot worse. Put myself into bad situation in the south.
I grew up in Brownsville. That neighborhood was crazy as fuck. I ain't even go captive, mad fights, shootings everywhere. But I used to play basketball, so I was chilling.
When it all started to go wrong?
Age around 14. Team my age, I suppose, was my turning point.
Tell me why you say that? What occurred?
That was the first time I got arrested, the first time I got sent to jail around 14. That's when it started going downhill for me. I think that's about my turning point.
All right, what experiences did you go through as a result of it going wrong?
Just started with zone to the crime life, to the street life. Committing crimes and, doing the opposite for right.
If it was possible to do it all over again, what would you do different at that turning point?
Well, if I could do it all over again, I probably would stay in school, took more good advice, Never started doing the things I did it. Because now I can say that I don't fully regret my life, but I could have made some better decisions. It really could have been been in a better place if I would have made better decisions, Like the 5 P's, proper planning prevents poor performance. It's definitely what it is.
What would be the first thing you would like to stop in your neighborhood or our neighborhood?
I would like to stop reading the book by its cover instead of instead of reading it first. More opportunities for the people out here. More opportunities, less crime rate.
Do you think people that come from poverty, do you think it's the people they be around, the things that surround them, the places they be, or not? Or it's poverty? People, places, things. Do you think that is the cause of us or people being in poverty?
I believe it plays a role. That plays a role, and I believe it do. I believe it plays a factor in life. Poverty is one thing, but if you're not around it every day or seeing it every day or being around it, it's not going to affect you, It's all about choices. You can make a good choice, you can make the wrong choice. Choice yours.
The battleground, some people call it Sugar Hill, legendary 152nd Street, Amsterdam and Broadway. We right here, yeah.
Could you tell me how your childhood was like growing up in your neighborhood?
I grew up mostly in Brooklyn, So the Marcy Projects, lived a little bit in the Bronx, caught a case at 16, a juvie defended, realized that wasn't the life for me. fast, you know. So I went to a trade school called Bonding Together, started from there, went back there and worked, and then that's how I basically started my climb to the top, you know.
Do you remember at about what age all started to go wrong?
I say when I was real young, you know, just growing up in the Marcy Project, you know, not taking away nothing from my family. Mother, great mom, always been there, but growing up in the crack epidemic, a lot of people got hooked on crack, you know? So I was pumping.
During the crack era, because it was like when you go outside, it was like zombies. You know, it was crack out here, it was a lot of drugs out here, so.
Gas young, had to fend for myself. That was the time, the early 90s and the 80s, things was real bad out here, you know?
The 80s, I would say the 80s is one of those situations where, you know, and you had to live there in order to experience it. You had to be there to experience it because there were a lot of more fun times than bad times, you know, minus the drugs, you know, so that's what it is.
But not to discredit, you know, I had a great family, great things, but, you know, just how the 70s took dope.
What experiences did you go through as a result of it going wrong?
I say I was locked up as a delinquent experience of growth, you know. Anything I went through was a growing experience because that made me realize even when I was young, 14 in group homes, I know I wanted to be a counselor. It always was my dream. I just didn't know how I was gonna get there. I always knew the path, what I wanted to do. Always was about helping and services, just didn't know the climb to get there, you know?
If it was possible to do it all over again, what would you do different at that turning point?
I wouldn't do nothing, man. I love it, man. What God does, man. This is God's plan. This is not me. I'm just a servant. You know, I'm thankful to be here. Thankful for the blessing.
The first thing you would like to stop in our neighborhoods?
I say in our neighborhood, I would like to stop. I say, I love it. I say nothing, you know. It's not about me stopping things. It's about what man want to do, you know. God gave us choice and will, so I leave that on man, you know.
What is a personal solution of yours that you would like to see happen or change in your neighborhood?
No, just jobs, economics, you know. But I say I don't even put it on, I always put it on, each man got an individual path and has to find that path himself. I had to find my path. But it's a big problem with just economic, diversity, rent. People can't afford rent, the economy getting bad. So just we need more jobs, but we always need it.
Do you think poverty is because of the people, the places and things, or is...
No, that's a great question. Basically, the system was built that way, you know? Like when I went to social work school, basically, you know about the glass ceiling, only a certain amount of people are gonna go through. Once we realize that this is a setup, the system is built that way, is the actions we take, you know? But I do believe there's a bigger picture, you know? And there's a fight to get out of it. How many of us is gonna take that fight to succeed, you know? Thank you.
And you know what? That will never come back. That's the way I grew up. This right here now, I don't know what it is. You would never have it like that. And blame it all on the government, like, you know what I mean? See, people don't like to point the fingers where it is because people be scared. You know what I mean? It's the people that's over all of this. And it's only one race running all of this. How you expect to get a fair share when one race is running everything? Let's make this make some sense. That's impossible.
Do you remember about what age or when it all started to go wrong?
Well, for my calculation, it's always been wrong for a black man. It's wrong when they took us off the ship. You know what I mean? And what we gonna really get out of it? We still gotta pay everything black to y'all anyway. You only make money to give it black to them. You put your money in their bank.
What experiences did you go through as a result of it going wrong?
Look at it. Don't you see society now? All the young black kids killing each other to kill me or anybody older or younger, they don't give a fuck. That's what went wrong because there's no community thing together. None of that. To do, what else do they got to do? They don't have no basketball tournaments, baseball like we did, and stuff like that, and then go to Yankee Stadium and stuff like that. People sponsor stuff like that to take people to other communities of doing stuff the Bronx Zoo and stuff like that. When I was growing up, that's what we had. I don't see none of that for them. Going to Great Adventure and all of that, bus rides and stuff. You don't have none of that. That been stopped. Where they do that at? Everybody just ride the wave like a slave.
If it was possible to do it all over again, what would you do different at that turning point?
Well, at that turning point then, it was great. I would like to turn this point back to that point, and we'll be good as a community. But that's not gonna happen. That's like shitting in one hand and wishing in the other and see which one get fuller first.
What would be the first thing you would like to stop in our neighborhoods?
The violence, brother. If nothing else, because I don't like my people killing each other. Make this shit make some sense.
What is the personal solution of yours that you would like to see happen or change in the neighborhood?
Economics. Economics that benefit the people. You know what I'm saying? Well, everybody living as one, everybody have what they want, so they don't need to do negative things for it. Yeah.
Poverty. Do you think it comes from where we from, the people we're around, or the place we at?
Well, a lot of people don't understand what slavery is. Slavery is a breaking mental and physical thing. And everybody's mind structure is different behind stuff like that. The mentality of that. You know what I mean? So I try to think, and I sit back, I try to analyze why we could separate from each other like that, is because when you had a family member and they just took him somewhere else and you never seen them again, so that's always something that's been embedded in us.
Remember about what age when it all started to go wrong?
14. I sat there, 14, niggas wanted money, you know? And all my friends sitting there smoking, I ain't got no money to smoke. Everybody sitting there buying new sneakers, you know what I mean? We ain't got no money for sneakers like that. My mom's getting a little set income, so she paying the bills and all that. You know, start wanting things, so you gotta go out there and get them.
What experiences did you go through as a result of it going wrong?
Locked up, jumped, robbed, shot at. You know, the shit that happens when you diving into these streets, you feel me? If I knew what I knew now, back then, I wouldn't say I would change the way I came up, but I knew I would know how to sit there and maneuver through certain situations so I wouldn't put myself in predicaments where I'm behind the police bars and all that shit in the police car, you know what I mean? Sitting there, I'm gonna keep it real. As a 36-year-old man, maneuvering through this world right now, if I could sit there and really go back and tell my 14-year-old self something, it would be, yo, stick to yourself, stop running around with a lot of niggas, and you don't have to be the tough guy all the time. Basically, that's it.
What would be the first thing you would like to stop in our neighborhoods?
I bet. The first thing I would really like to stop in our neighborhoods is for y'all young kids to sit there and stop creating ops out of nowhere. Because y'all sitting there killing yourselves for no reason because your friend made a diss song about his friend and y'all don't even know each other. Use this internet for something better than sitting there trying to kill somebody or giving the feds the whereabouts of where the last time you slid on a nigga and this, that, and the third. Like, y'all figure out a better way to sit there and do this internet shit, bro, because this tough guy gangster shit is not gonna work for y'all, bro. I'm telling you, too many of y'all young niggas is dying, B. Y'all dying for no reason. Y'all dying, y'all going to jail, y'all can't fight, y'all getting beat up. Then when y'all come home, you wanna act like you tough, then you wanna go right back to jail. Listen, find a better way, boy. Trust me.
What's a personal solution of yours that you would like to see happen or change in our neighborhood?
Being that I do podcasting, you know what I mean? Shouts out to Around the Time with Wiz on KD on your YouTube screens, Instagram and all that. A solution that I figured out is using this camera to sit there and occupy my time rather than being bored in the streets with no money. Because when you're bored in the streets with no money, you're gonna find something to do to sit there and get some money. Find a better way to sit there and take that time and create a lane for you so you can potentially, and if you keep on doing it, you put in your 10,000 hours, you're gonna make that money. And then when that money is being made, especially when you on this camera and everybody's sitting there watching you, oh, you gonna have, you ain't even gotta worry about you making the money, because the money's gonna try to make you. Because all them white folks gonna sit there and try to be in there. Oh yeah, we want you to promote this, we want you to do this, they gonna throw you the money, my boy. So the money ain't the issue. You gotta sit there and find something positive that you can sit there reposition yourself into, instead of sitting there, you sitting out here with 10 niggas, don't nobody got $100 to their name, but everybody wanna smoke and drink and wanna be fly. So y'all gonna figure out a way to sit there and try to make some money. It may not be legal. It may sit there and cost 2, 3 you niggas your lives. It may cost 2, 3 you niggas your lives in the penitentiary system. Find a better way.
One more question. Poverty. Do you think it's people, places, and things that cause us to be in poverty, or you think?
Now the question is, people, places, and things that have us in poverty, or do I think that's what it is? That's how the setup was.
Do you think that's what it is? Cause me personally, I know a person in my building that learned from our mistakes.
Right.
He carry a gun now, never been to jail,
right.
Never smoked weed, never got high, and came from Brownville, Hollywood. Now, is maybe 1 out of 10, but he did it. You know what I mean? It could be a bunch of us that could do that.
Right. All right. So look, this is coming from a fella. So let me preface this by that. Poverty, 9 times out of 10, is based on location of where you can live at. If you don't have the means of money, then you're going to live in a low income situation. Now, poverty does not mean that you are a low income nigga. You feel me? Pause. Because at the end of the day, I know plenty of people that live in low income situations, but have tons of money in the bank, got good businesses, raising their kids, and sitting there making sure that they take care of their business. Now you got other people that sit there and they're gonna take the situation that, oh, I live in a project, so I'm gonna be a project nigga. All right, that's on you. But do I think that the government placed certain people in certain situations in order for us to sit there and pop it? Yeah, of course. That it's not what I think. That's already written in stone. Black and white don't lie. You feel me? But what I can tell you is, thinking poverty is you better off thinking dead. If you're not out here trying to sit there and make $1 and trying to sit there and change your life, whether it's yours, your mother's, your sister, your daughter, if you're not trying to help somebody pay it forward, because it's too much money. If niggas keep on saying that it ain't no money out here, niggas is lying. It's too much money out here, bro. It's too much money out here. So it's no way in the world you gonna tell me that, but you see 1,000 niggas a day sitting there getting 100,000, 25,000, 80,000 likes and views on YouTube, and they getting paid for that, brother. So you can't tell me it ain't no money out here. You got niggas doing TikTok and popping hips and all that and getting money out here. Like, you got niggas chalking out headlines singing about and getting money. It's too much money out here. So you gotta find your lane, my nigga. Not everybody is a scammer. Not everybody is a career criminal. There's some of you dumb niggas that's so smart, but you so dumb because you sit there and stick around dumb people. You gotta sit there and open up your horizons. If you stick around dumb people, you're gonna keep on making dumb decisions. When you move around people that like to make money, you're gonna find a way to make money, because this is the lane that you in. You moving with the movers and shakers. So you're gonna move and shake to sit there, you know what I mean? Pause. A lot of you niggas, y'all shaking in the wrong direction. But look, that's neither here nor there. The money is out here to be made. I just gotta make it, bro. And it's too many positive ways to sit there and make money, bro. You gotta read. I know a lot of you, a lot of people, at least from my age on up, and I'm talking about from when I was younger to now, they don't like to read. They rather be in the streets and, you know what I mean? Black and white don't lie. It's in the book. It's in these books. They got it written down for you to sit there and get the source. Open up a bank loan and get my LLCs. you gotta read, bro. Do your research. Y'all sitting there doing your research on where your ops live at and when the last time he sat there and popped out the McDonald's. Do your research on how to open up an LLC, S corp. You know what I mean? Get your financial orders and some drop shipping. You know about that? You know about drop shipping? Come on, man. If y'all paying attention, I just gave y'all some jewels, B. You know what I mean? This KD from around the town, man.
When it started going wrong, like I was saying, I don't think it went wrong. I just think that, you know, it was crack out here. It was a lot of drugs out here. So the people that you grew up with, they either became drug dealers or they became victims of the drugs. And you see the change in people. You see kids that you grew up with, they started selling drugs. And then you see the same kids that you grew up with, they started like hurting and killing other people. So that's one of those situations, you know, where I would say it kind of went bad a little bit, because you would hang out with a person, or you would be playing skellies one day with a person, and then the next day you don't see them for a couple of years, and then you hear, oh man, they got locked up, and now you don't see them until 2023, you know, or something like that. So I would say, to give a number, I would say.
Can you tell me what you went through as a result of it going wrong during that time?
I don't think I went through too much, you know. As every youth growing up and trying to become a man or a young man in this industry, in this world, not industry, in this world, you got to be careful of the world and the people that you surround yourself with. Back then, and you have to, and now it's even worse now, because you don't want to hook up with somebody, and you meet some people and you hang out with them, and now you're hanging out with them now, and then it's something like a RICO case or some bullshit, you know, that you have nothing to do with. You just happen to be a part of people trying to move to the next level. Like I said, I don't think I've experienced anything going wrong. The only thing I've experienced is it didn't go wrong for me, but it went wrong for a lot of my friends that was growing up. Being I was out of the neighborhood back then, I was on tour at that time, like '88. I was on tour, and I was actually on. I was there, so actually I think I was there for Rob Bass at the time, and I was on tour with Hammer, Will Smith, a whole bunch of people, you know, during this tour, and then that tour took me on Bobby Brown's tour. And that changed my whole life, you know, started understanding things a little different, you know, and watching everything go bad was the people from my neighborhood that, you know, unfortunately got arrested and died and went through, you know, worse situations, and I got to hear about it when I came home from on tour or just hearing about it, you know. So that's what I would consider, you know, when you see good friends that you grew up with, you know, now they're in jail and you ain't gonna ever see them until, you know, if they get out. So, you know, I'm grateful to see a lot of my friends that got out. Oh.
If it was possible to do it all over again, what would you do different at that turning point?
If it was possible to do everything all over again, unfortunately I didn't get married, you know, but I was with one person for a few years, and that person I ended up having 2 kids by. So that worked out perfect. Thank you, Chief. Yo. So yeah, that worked out perfect for us. So, you know, I ended up, I lost my train of thought.
If it was possible to do it all over again, what would you do different at that turning point?
Okay. So now, if it was possible to do everything all over again, I would change a couple of things. I would definitely be more aggressive with my business, and I would learn more about whatever business that I'm interested in. You know, whatever business that anybody is interested in, if you want to really accomplish something, whether you play the guitar, you play the drums, or you play the piano, or you're just a producer or an engineer, you have to learn your craft. And then once you learn what you can, your skills, you enhance your skills.
If it was possible to do it all over again, what would you do different at that turning point?
Well, the only thing that I would do different is a bunch of like professional decisions that I've done in the past. I wouldn't have did it, or I would approach it different because lack of information. I didn't really know the industry, so I had to learn the industry the hard way. They say the old school hard knock life. I had to learn it the old school way and learn it the hard way, and that's how I was able to achieve. I would say anyone in this industry or anyone that's reaching for anything in life, if you sit on the edge of your bed and you say, well, I'm good at this, so can I at least, well, I'm just gonna say, before you actually invest into what you want, you have to know what you want. You have to know what you're worth, and even if you don't know what you're worth, you have to at least know what you're getting into. Because once you learn every technical part of your equipment or anything that you're touching physically, or you're touching, the only thing you have to do now is learn the business aspect of it so you can get paid the correct way. Sorry about that. So yeah, that's what I would say. And yo, I'm gonna shout this out. I'm just gonna say, yo, Teddy Riley, I apologize. It's your boy. I apologize for every time I fucked up. So I want to say that on this film right now, so it'll be known, you know, because my apology. I know you really tried to reach out to me, and you told me never fucking get married. You said that to me when we were younger. You said this to me, and I fucked up. I didn't get married, but I sold out. Man. Yeah. So that's what it is.
What would be the first thing you would like to stop in our neighborhoods?
The first thing I would like to stop in our neighborhoods today, this being 2023, I would like to, I think we should look more into these companies that's trying to say that they are non-profit organizations that's helping the youth. You know, because what happens with these people that's helping the youth, they're not really helping the youth. They're taking advantage of the youth. And I feel that these youth out here, they're very talented, but what they lack of, they lack the knowledge and the information of what they're into. So what happens is when they either go into a studio session, just because they're from a neighborhood, look at this neighborhood is beautiful, but you would never, ever experience it unless you walk through it, hang around it. You know, this neighborhood may be considered a bad neighborhood or whatever they consider it, but when you hang out in this block, your whole thought process would be so different.
What would be the first thing you would like to see stop in your neighborhood, in our neighborhood?
The first thing I would like to change in our neighborhood, I would like to communicate more, because no one is really talking to each other. And if they are talking to each other, it's either having a drink over somebody's dead body, you know, somebody that's passed away. We're celebrating somebody that passed instead of helping them through their mental situation that they were going through. Because there's a lot of people out here that's going through a lot of stuff and nobody know about it, because the easiest lie to tell a person is, yo, I'm okay, I'm good. And they get upstairs and they get in a situation and they're going through it, you know. So I would like people to communicate more, because if you communicate, then everything that the government and everyone else is trying to shut down amongst us, we'll understand it even more, because then we'll have these open conversations about stuff. And I think we need to change that, especially you hip-hop artists, you R&B artists, everybody that's in this industry, man. Yo, where's all our hip-hop, where's all our R&B artists across the world touring and living off of their catalog of work? Of course, we can understand that, but they're not living off of their royalties, they're not living off their mechanical rights, they're not living off their publishing, they're living off of tour money, and then they gotta pay wherever they go. So I think it's a lot to change, but in order to change, we have to communicate in order to understand.
What is a personal solution of yours that you would like to see happen or change in our neighborhood?
Personal solution. Well, honestly, I can't really give that answer. I don't really know a personal solution. As soon as you come outside, there is, you know, things going on beyond our control. So the only thing that I could advise, or any advisory I could give to the situation is, before you take care of anybody, before you give your last to anybody, and depend on anybody, take care of yourself first. You're first, no matter what. No matter how many people tell you selfish, yeah, I'm selfish. If a person call you a narcissist or whatever, it's because it's something that they dislike about you, and they're trying to change that character or that person or that demeanor in you, but they don't have the right. If God is not going to judge you, no one can judge you. So, you know, I mean, you can, you know, I would just...
Poverty. Do you think it comes from people, places, and the things that's around, or you think that's no excuse for a person to succeed in life?
Poverty? Well, I want to say something that's real funny. Poverty. All right, so check it. When I grew up with my moms, and I was living in the house with my moms or whatever, and we were living down the hill, poverty. Like right now, with everything, I think that we are living in a time where we can accomplish anything. But then, yo, you guys don't understand with roaches. You cut the light off, right, in your kitchen, and when you cut the light on, you see as roaches move. Like, you see roaches on the wall, on the ceilings. That's living in a poverty where, you know, it's like, damn, I don't even want to eat this because it got a roach in it. But you have no choice. You got to eat that shit. Or you don't have no water. I mean, you don't have no milk, so you got to put water in your cereal. You know what I'm saying? I used to think that my mom's was starving me when she made liver with gravy, and I forgot what we ate with it. But now that my mother's not here, I miss those times where those meals was like that. That liver meal and all that stuff was so good, you know? And when you miss relatives, from your grandmother to your moms, your uncles, you know, you're living in a state of mind where that could become your you know, you could be in that poverty, you know what I'm saying? You could be in this space of mind where you just like, damn, there's nothing either to live for or it's everything to live for. You know what I'm saying? So I just say, from where I grew up, that was hard times, you know. We called it on the hill, not Sugar Hill, let's correct that. To 155th is Harlem World, on the hill. So, and if we're gonna go down the hill, we're gonna go 8th and 7th in Lenox. We're not gonna go to 5th, but we're gonna say Harlem World because if you lived in that time, they gave lunch sandwiches, they gave summer youth sandwiches, they gave so much stuff out that what are we getting now? Not getting any of that, you know? So in reality, we are still living in the same time, but it's worse because it's out of our control.
I'm gonna keep it real with you. I don't even think I know a time in period where it went wrong, because this shit was all dope to me, you feel me? Like, growing up from a kid to now was always dope to me. I ain't gonna even lie to you. Like, I enjoyed it. Like, now this shit whack, this shit boring. But when I was growing up, this shit was everything. Like, I couldn't stay in the crib. I had to be outside. I had to be interacting and doing something. I had to.
What would be one of the first things you would like to stop in your neighborhood?
To stop
in our neighborhood.
To stop in the neighborhood. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I don't see nothing going wrong with the neighborhood. But what I would like to see a change, stop trying to genderfy our shit. You feel me? Like, gentrification and modifications they doing this shit because, you know, we getting with cultural times, I guess you would say. Like, all that could go to me. Like, I like how it used to be. You feel me? It was always lit. We in the park. We got our tournaments going on. They stopping our tournaments. They stopping the play street. They stopping all our youthful activities. That needs to stop. Bring it back how it used to be. Block parties and play street and everybody having fun, enjoying themselves. That needs to change.
Personal solution of yours that you would like to see happen or change in the neighborhood?
I ain't gonna lie, I think we need two things: a rec center and a fucking movie theater. You hear me? We had those two things, this shit would be back to how it was. You feel me? That's how I feel. When they took the Nova out, You feel me? The Nova got, you feel me?
Nova
When the
and
rec
55th
center on 50 Deuce got closed, it was we opened a rec center and a movie theater in the community. That will help us a lot. You don't gotta go far. You can still in your neighborhood. You could do your regular activities, have fun. But I think that's what we need back over here. We need a rec center and we need another movie theater. We need another Nova to be exact. You heard? We need another Nova to be exact. Other than that, we straight. We got our eateries, we got everything we need. Except for that too. I don't want to travel to go see a movie.
Shout out to Canoe Bar and Grill.
You feel me? I like going. I like when we was on, what is that, 4-7. I like that. You hear me? We ain't have to go to 250 or 86 or whatever the new. We had out in our neighborhood. You feel me? Like bring movie theaters back to the neighborhood. Bring rec centers back to the communities. That could help get the youth off the street if they had something to do. Y'all take shit away from the neighborhood and expect us to be in tip-top shape. Y'all taking away from what's helping us build, what's helping us be us.
Do you think
poverty?
Yeah, poverty. Do you think that deal with people, places, and things, or you think none of that have to do with you transpiring and like prospering in life?
I mean, if dealing with poverty does affect a way of how we do our thing, you feel me? Because you coming from harder conditions than others, so you gotta grind twice as hard to get to where the normal person who's not in poverty was at. You get what I'm saying? Like growing up, my mom used to tell me we already got 2 marks against us. Black and we men in America, you feel me? That already is 2 strikes against us, and the poverty gonna make it nothing but harder for us. And if you were stuck in poverty, you're just gonna deal with what you're seeing on an everyday basis. It's going to be a continuous cycle. Feel me? If we had more outlets and solutions to our problems, it would be totally different. Poverty is a problem in our society and what we dealing with today in America. You feel me? Poverty plays a big toll on that, because you only going to know what you see. I mean, if you're not seeing people prosper and do good, you ain't gonna know no better. You're gonna look up to the local people you see around you doing the same old shit, you feel me? And what you gonna do? What you see them do? You in cycle when you stuck in poverty, unfortunately. Circle. Yeah, it's just a circle. It's gonna be keep repeating, a repeating factor, you feel me? So poverty plays a big role in America and in society today, if you ask me.
My mom there was a neighbor who wanted to give me an ice cream, and I ended up busting my head open. And that was my first memory in my whole life, just cracking my head off the sidewalk looking at this ice cream. Oh, I guess my mom had moved from there to a place called Cook Street, Waterbury, right off of Bishop Street, the bottom of Cook Street. And it was basically probably the worst place in the whole city that I lived in. It was the most, everyone was on welfare. All the apartments were all Section 8. So my mom lived there, and we lived there for a while. And I was probably like 3 years old. I guess my mom had like a boyfriend, maybe 4 years old. And he started beating my mom up real bad. And like punching her and everything. It was bad. And I was sitting on a blanket in a diaper, and I remember looking at my mom getting beat up. My brother climbed over my mother's head while this guy was punching my mom. My mom came up out of that whole situation and just fucking pounded this guy, punched him, and bashed him all the way through the house and pushed him out the front door. And he was out the door. That was it. That was like my second memory that ever processed in my mind. And I remembered my mom used to nail all the windows shut in the house that we lived in. She had big 6-inch nails. She nailed all the windows shut. I never knew why. And anyway, time went by, and I was pretty much excluded to the backyard. And there was an old woman who lived next door. And there was always garbage. The whole street was trashed with garbage. The whole neighborhood was garbage in the street. And she used to have me pick the garbage up, and she'd give me cookies. My mom gave her permission to give me cookies. And she used to bring me in her house, and she walked me around her house when I was a little kid. I was like 4 years old. And she showed me the pictures of her husbands and all this stuff. And she told me about her life. And she loved me. She was a good woman. She lived there all by herself, so I seen her every day. So time went by, and it was probably like the fall. And at this point, I had took a knife and I'd cut my hand. And when in the middle of the night, I went out into the kitchen and I grabbed the knife and I cut my hand open with the knife, and I was bleeding and I started crying. And my mom came and she started locking me in my bedroom. She had like a chain lock on the door, and she locked me in there forever after that. Me and my brother, we got locked in the room at night because of what I did. One night I woke up and I was laying in my bed, and I had this feeling and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And something told me to go and look out the window. So when I went and looked out the window in my bedroom faced at her house, and I was looking at her house for like 5 minutes, and then something inside of me told me to look up. And when I looked up into the sky, I could see her. She looked younger because I seen all the pictures of her. She showed me all her photo albums, everything. I knew everything about her. She talked about her life every time she was by herself. And I could see her, and she was a cartoon figure. It was a hole in the sky, and I was looking at this thing. And in my mind, as a little kid, I was thinking, wow. And then all of a sudden, I seen a man come and stand with her, and it was her husband. And he was already dead. I'd never met him, and it was him. And he was standing next to her, and he waved to me. So anyway, I was all freaked out, and I looked and looked and looked, and I could see people behind them. And I went and I woke my brother up, because he was we had a bedroom with 2 beds in it. And I woke my brother up, and I told my brother, hey, come look out the window. I said, the lady next door, she's up in the sky. And my brother told me, hey, leave me alone. I'm not looking out the window. He wouldn't listen to me. He would not get up and look out the window. So I went back and looked out the window. They were still there. And I looked for like 20 more minutes up into the sky at them. And then I went and laid back down. So that morning I woke up, and my brother was already in school because I was too young. I didn't go to kindergarten yet. And I was eating cereal, and my brother was getting ready for school and stuff. And all of a sudden I remembered that whole thing that happened. And I started to tell my mom, hey, I think something happened to the lady next door, because I seen her last night. And my mom was like, what are you talking about? She's okay, blah, 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 all this stuff. She told me, so I told her I seen her in the sky and the whole 9 yards. And she didn't believe me. And she told me this, she said it was all nonsense. And she said to stop telling her what I was saying. And when I got done talking, you know what my brother said? My brother says to me, hey, and don't wake me up at night anymore. So I know that that was real. Because at the end of that whole conversation, my brother was like, he confirmed that I was awake and that I seen what I seen. So anyway, about 2 months later, I got in a car accident. I almost died. I was sitting in the back seat of the car, getting off the highway, going like 50 miles an hour. Some old woman pulled in front of the car. I hydroplaned from the back seat like Superman. I hit the windshield, got like 58 stitches on my head, got hurt. Fractured my collarbone, woke up in the hospital, no one was there. It was just me. There was no one in the room. I wake up, I fall, I hit the ground. What? I didn't know what happened to me. And then, so I get out of the hospital, but while I was in the hospital, I have to say that, so there was nurses in there that played with me. And I'm gonna tell you something that no one had ever played with me in my life until I was in the hospital. I never even knew what a woman would give to their child as love, as to play with them and care about them. I never had that in my life at this point, ever, at all, period. Nothing, no hugs from my mother, no nothing. It was just like having nobody. So anyway, my brother's in the 2nd grade. He started 2nd grade, he had some friends, and on a Sunday, wanted to go play with his friends, and he had a couple times, and my mom would never let me go. So one day I told my mom, hey, can I go play with my friend? Can I go with Joe and play with his friends? And I leave with my brother, and I go, get to his friend's house. It's like 3 blocks away from where we live. And when we get there, it was like everybody started whispering in each other's ears. And when they were whispering in each other's ears, I guess they were telling everybody to ignore me because all of a sudden I became invisible and they were all running around the house playing and no one would listen to anything that I had to say. Wanted to leave, man. No one wanted to play with me. Everybody was ignoring me. So I took off. So it was like 5 years. I walked down the block and there was a big parking lot with a building in it, but it was Sunday. So the parking lot wasn't open to the building. But there was a wall that they built on the parking lot that went around the whole parking lot like this. And it was about 12 feet high and they built it with bricks. But someone took a sledgehammer and they smashed out the wall where you could cut through the block. You could cut through the neighborhood like this. And I lived, that hole was behind the old woman's house. She had a garage behind her house. And behind the garage was the wall. And there was a space like about this big. And they busted the wall out, and so I could cut through and go right to where my mom lived. So as I was cutting through that neighborhood, or cutting through that parking lot, I guess I should say, all I can say is, man, I got my first spidey senses of my life. Something told me to look behind me. All of a sudden I got this feeling inside me. And I looked behind me and I seen a man, probably like 6 feet tall, and he looked all mad. He looked so angry that I looked away from him. I kept walking and something told me to look back again, and when I looked back he was running right at me. And he had this angry, mad, crazy look on his face. And I ran to where the wall was, but there was about 10 feet of trees, like little trees that they put to block the wall out in the parking lot. And when I got into the tree line to try to get through this bull that got busted through the wall, he grabbed me and got me. He had me, man. I didn't know what was going on. And he took my pants down. He pulled them down to my ankles. And he started pulling his pants down and he had me. He was grabbing me. I couldn't get away from him. He pulled his pants down and he was ready to go, I guess. I know that now. I didn't know what was going on then. I had no idea what this guy was doing. All I thought was he was going to kill me. And I went crazy, man. And I fought, and I broke loose from him, and I fell to the ground, and my pants were on my ankles. So I pushed like this, like 10 times, and I got about 10 feet away, and I jumped up and I pulled my pants back up, and I climbed and grabbed onto this wall that's behind this old woman's house. And I was holding onto the wall, and he grabbed me, and he had me about my waist. And all I thought was that I was gonna die. And I was looking over at my hands and I was watching my fingers pull away from the concrete that I was holding on to. All I can say, man, is some force, something pushed me right through the hole. I pushed right through. I ripped right out of his hands and pushed through the hole. And I landed on the ground and I flipped around and I looked and he was gone and I jumped up. And I ran home to my mom's house, which was only like literally 100 feet away. And I ran in the house and I tried to tell my mom what this guy just did to me. And all she did was yell at me and scream at me and said, "Where's my brother?" And then I didn't listen to her. And I told her. And I told her what happened to me and she didn't care. And I'll never remember the last word I said to her. And my words were, and this is a 5-year-old kid, I pointed outside of the house and I said, "Mom, he's out there." Because I knew that he was going to find someone else to hurt, some other kid. He was crazy. And she didn't care. And she locked me in my room at night, but she locked me right in there and she kept me in there. Then I cried out for like a day. And I told her that my stomach hurt real bad. She wouldn't listen to me. She kept me in there for like 2 days, and then finally she listened to what I said, and she brought me to Waterbury Hospital and had an emergency operation. Had a hernia, tore the whole inside of me open from fighting a grown man at 5 years old. I had a ruptured hernia. And she left me there for like 2 days. She didn't care. In a video yesterday, it was kind of hard for me to say some of that stuff that happened to me when I was real young. I don't usually try not to think about it. It bothers me a lot even to this day. I'm 53 years old and it still hurts me inside when I think about that stuff that happened to me. But I want to add in before I go on with my story that old woman that had lived next door to me, I feel that she's the one who saved me from that guy. She's the one who pushed me through that hole. I never got a chance to say that, but that's really truly what I believe in all my heart. But anyway, so my life went on, and my brother was going to school and stuff, and he got a bike. And right after he got the bike, it was stolen. And my stepfather bought us, my mom's boyfriend at the time bought us some bikes. They got stolen. Then we got some more bikes, and they were nicer than all the bikes, and they were kept inside the house. And somebody broke in our house and stole the bikes. So we couldn't have any bikes in our neighborhood because they were being stolen. So anyway, it was getting around time for me to start to go to kindergarten. I was 5 years old. There had been a car accident, all that stuff had already happened to me. Anyhow, so my mother and my brother were telling me that I was going to love school, I was going to have so much fun there, I was going to play all day, and it was going to be cool. And so my mom walked me there because it was only a couple blocks, and we walked a couple blocks, and we got to school. When we got to the school where the kindergarten section was, there was all these other little kids, and they were all with their parents, and they were crying. And I remember looking up at my mom, and I was like, I thought you said I was going to have fun here. Why is everybody crying? And they were crying and crying like bad. And it was like, it freaked me out. So anyway, my mom left me, and the other kids' parents left, and we were all in the classroom, and the teacher was giving rules. And she said that if we had to use the bathroom to raise our hand. So as soon as she said it, I raised my hand. I said, hey, I need to use the bathroom. So she brought me out the hallway and she pointed to where the bathroom was. And she says, you'll come right back, right? And I said, yep, I will. And she walked away back into the classroom. And as soon as she did, I booked out of the school. And I was just running and running and running. And I ran the wrong way. So I kind of got lost. I ran like 5 blocks the opposite direction. And on the way back, there was cross guards for school and everything. And I guess they were looking for me, so they were chasing me. I kept getting chased at all the intersections by cross guards, and then even some cops tried chasing me. No one could catch me. And finally, I made it home. When I got home, my mom was so mad at me. She dragged me right back to school, and I went to school. So anyways, school life went on and everything, and the place that I lived was so crazy. Me and my brother got put through a lot of stuff. We lived in a mostly all-black neighborhood. We were like one of the few white little kids in the neighborhood, and so we took a little bit of, I don't know, they had my brothers eating bugs once, and they were like burning our elbows with their bike tires when we had big wheels and stuff, and it was just like this crazy area. And anyway, I was probably about 7 years old now. I was in first grade. I stayed back in first grade. I couldn't learn at all. I couldn't sleep at night. I was rocking in my sleep all night. For years I did this, all the way to probably like the age 10, 11 years old. I ended up seeing this garage open. It had all these bikes in it, and I seen the bikes that got stolen from me and my brother, so I climbed up on this big tree. And I was up in this big tree, and they started throwing rocks at me. And they hit me. One hit me in the head. They were hitting me in the body, and they ran out of rocks to throw because they were going over this fence. Started ripping the asphalt out of the road and throwing that. I had to get out of the tree. I was a sitting duck sitting in this tree. So I started climbing down this tree, and it had like one of those big branches that goes like this. So when I shimmied down the branch to get down the tree, one of them hit me in the head again with a rock, and I flipped around the branch, and I was holding on like this under the branch, like a cat hanging onto a tree. And people started walking by, and they looked up and they seen me. They called the fire department, and I was holding on. And I'm telling you, I held on underneath this tree for like 5-10 minutes. I thought I was gonna die. Underneath me, there was a spear fence, one of those old iron fences.
Yo, what's up, man? It's Rob. I've been telling stories, man. So I just came up. I'm talking with my buddy over here about a story, and I'm thinking, yo, this one I gotta post the story. It's so crazy. So anyway, man, back in like 1992, 93, I got arrested in Indiana for a Grand Theft Auto. I'm not gonna go into the whole story now, but it's pretty crazy if anyone ever wanted to look back on it. But anyway, I wasn't driving no car or nothing, I'll just say it like that, but maybe I had some type of part in it, maybe whatever happened, whatever. But so I got picked up the next day by the cops, and they brought me to like this little police station in Indiana. I think it was in like Elkhart, Indiana, or something like that. And they brought me into this like building with no cells or nothing. And then a state cop showed up, and when the state cop showed up, he told me to stand up and turn around. So when I turned around and he saw the back of me, he said, "Yeah, that's him." So I turned back around and I was like, "Yo, really?" I was like, "You're gonna identify me from the back of my head? Like, you know it was me?" He's like, "Yo, I saw you in the car, blah, 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 blah." I said, "Bullshit, I don't know what you're talking about, bro." So anyway, I go to the county jail. I get to the county jail. They put me in the worst block you can be in the county jail. And I had some real badass freaking Air Max Nikes. When they first started coming out, I had real nice sneakers. And freaking couple dudes were like, "Yo, run your shit." So I took my sneakers off inside of a cell, and I put them up on top of the desk, and I told them, "Yo, come on, come take my shit, bro. All you motherfuckers, let's get it out. Let's get it over with." They're all looking at me, they see how crazy I look. And all of a sudden they're just like, "Yo, it's cool, bro." Dude that's trying to take my sneakers from the get-go, he chills out, everybody chills out. Next thing you know, I'm playing cards with everyone. The guards are just like thinking, "What the fuck, what's going on here?" I think it was like, honest to God, I'm gonna say it like this, I think I was the only white guy in the whole block. There was no white people in there. So boom, about 5 days go by and they're just like, probably like, "What the hell, we can't do nothing with him in here." So they put me in another block. I had a white cellie now, and there's all these people around me. And it was like, it was a crazy situation. So anyway, so I go to court. It's my day to go to court, and so boom, they ship me off. There's actually a tunnel that goes from the county jail under the road to the courthouse. They walk us over there through that. And so I'm at court, and I'm sitting in like, it looks like the jury box, and there's a bunch of us, we're all wearing our orange suits and everything, we're all chained together. And some person walks up to me and they're like, "Hey, who's Rob Ventura?" And I'm like, "Hey, I am." And all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, okay, this is what's going on today. Well, we got you here on Grand Theft Auto, and looking at your past record, we can give you up to 11 years for what happened, high-speed chase, the whole 9 yards, whatever. And but I can get you 7 years today." So I look him in the face and I'm like, "Well, who the hell are you?" And he says, "Well, I'm your lawyer." And I started laughing, and I was like, "You're my lawyer, bro?" I was like, "First of all, where's your evidence?" I said, "Second of all, you're not my lawyer anymore." I said, "Because if you're my lawyer and you work in here with the rest of the lawyers," I was like, "you can't be my lawyer and no one can. So when I go in front of the judge, I'm going to see if I can have the right to represent myself and speak for myself and fight my own case and prove what you're saying is a bunch of crap." And he's like, "Oh, okay." So boom, I go in front of the judge, they give me the right, boom, I get to represent myself. It's my pre-trial date because they have no case on me yet, so they have to find evidence. So the state cop has to be there, so does the arresting officer that said that I was loitering and some other charge that he put on me that never was even true. And I'm up in front, and there's the judge, there's me, there's no prosecutor, because I am representing myself. Pretty much, so like the prosecutor really doesn't have much say in the case because I'm going to speak up and tell the truth. So anyway, they run the whole spiel that they have already down, blah, 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 blah. And I never say a word, I play it cool, I listen to everything, try to remember what everybody's saying. And then when it comes my turn to talk, I said, "Well, Your Honor, I only have one question." I said, "I want the state cop to tell the court how he identified me in this court case." And I looked the state cop right in his face, turned and looked right at him. I was only like 4 feet away, looked him right in his eyes. And he was like, "Well, Your Honor, I had Mr. Ventura turn around, and when he turned around, from how his hair looked and how his head looked, I was able to identify him in the vehicle." The judge chuckles and he says,